There's always one, eh? Always one holding us up.
Well, there goes lunch. Is it usually that big? Yeah.
I'll just give you a second, okay?
I think it's the handle.
Yeah.
Pistol grippers.
There you go. There's a technical issue with the other camera. You have to come back.
Is it the sergeant's day off today?
Okay.
Just me. Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming down. I'm Constable Steve Addison. I work in the Media Relations Department here at the Vancouver Police Department. A couple of things I'll talk to you about today, and then I'll take some questions on any other issues that you want to talk about. First thing we're going to talk about is another series of distraction thefts that have occurred in East Vancouver. Now, this is a problem that we've encountered a number of times over the past number of years, as well as this summer. We had 3 more incidents of distraction thefts occur between August 20th and August 21st in the Kensington and Fraser View neighborhoods of East Vancouver. I believe there's, based on what we know, there's a man and a woman who, in each case, reported to be driving a white vehicle, who approached some seniors who were walking in the area, called the victims over to their vehicle, tried to give them fake jewelry, and in the process of doing that, removed the legitimate jewelry that they were wearing. As I said, this is a problem that we've encountered a number of times over the past number of years in the city. It continues to be a problem, and we're just reminding residents to be vigilant, to be wary that this is happening. These scammers tend to target elderly people who are seen to be wearing jewelry. And what they'll do is they'll come up and typically they'll use the element of surprise and overwhelm their victims by invading their personal space, confusing them, attempting to place phony jewelry on them, whether it's a necklace or a ring or a bracelet or something else. And in doing so, they remove the legitimate jewelry from the victims. And in a lot of cases, the victims don't even realize they've been scammed until much later. Sometimes it'll be later that day, or they'll speak to a family member and realize that an item of jewelry has been missing, and it's only then they piece it together that it's related to this previous interaction they've had. We believe there's probably a lot more incidents out there that have gone unreported, either because the victims are embarrassed or simply don't realize that they've been scammed. So we're now investigating a number of these distraction thefts in the city, and we're looking for anybody who has information to come forward to give us a call. Obviously, if somebody sees a crime in progress or needs immediate help, they should call 911. Otherwise, anybody with information to share about these distraction thefts can call our major crime section at 717-2541. Alternatively, anonymous tips can be made to Crime Stoppers, which is 1-800-222-8477. In the most recent cases, the suspects are described as a South Asian female, about 30 to 35 years old, with long black hair. Her male accomplice appeared to be South Asian as well, about 45 years old, wearing short black hair. In each case, they were said to be driving either a white sedan or a white SUV. We believe these cases are all interconnected, and we're investigating them. And as I said before, these scammers will target. They'll prey on elderly people. They'll often prey on people who appear to be visible minorities. maybe people who appear to be not have English as their first language, and that aids them in the element of surprise and confusion and overwhelming these victims so that they can take advantage of them.
What's their sales pitch? I mean, I talked to all three of the cases, and what have they heard that kind of resembles each case? What do people need to look out for that these folks are saying?
So in the most recent cases, we had a 78-year-old South Asian woman who was approached. The suspects drove up in a white vehicle and actually called the woman over to the car and made some sort of reference to a child in the car and invited the woman to say hello or look at the baby in the car. And as the woman was leaning in, that's when they attempted to place, or that's when the woman, the female suspect, attempted to place this fake jewelry on the victim. Fortunately, in that case, as the victim's necklace was being taken off, she realized that it was happening and was able to stop it, and the suspects left. In another recent case, the suspects approached a 70-year-old woman and asked for directions to a pharmacy. And then they said they offered thanks for providing the directions and offered fake jewelry. So typically what will happen is there is a ruse, there's a distraction, and the person is confused, and the suspects leave before the victim even realizes what's happened.
They're quite cunning. They assist them down.
It's a sleight of hand, yes. Any other questions on that?
Do these guys target retirement homes? Are they?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Typically, it's approaching people who are on the street. We had one earlier this year where an elderly woman in East Vancouver was approached in her backyard as she was gardening. And they simply they approached and just confused her and overwhelmed her, and were able to get away with some jewelry. Okay, I'll talk to you about an arrest that was made last night in the downtown east side. Around 8 o'clock last night, some heads up, patrol officers were working in plain clothes down in the Strathcona area. They saw a vehicle traveling some of the side streets around Gore and Hastings, and they followed that vehicle. They noticed that the vehicle had some expired insurance, and they conducted what was a routine traffic stop for the expired insurance. There were 4 occupants in the vehicle, 1 adult male, 46 years old, and 3 teenagers. Those people, when they were removed from the vehicle, they were found to be in possession of a loaded Glock 22 firearm. The vehicle was towed for having no insurance, and the 4 suspects were taken into custody. Search incident to that lawful arrest resulted in the seizure of some drugs, some street drugs, and the 3 accused, a 46-year-old man from North Vancouver, 18-year-old man from Vancouver, and a 17-year-old man from Vancouver, were taken to jail. They're now facing a number of charges, including drugs and weapons charges. A 4th person in the vehicle, a 16-year-old teenager, a female, was released without charges.
Is it difficult to prove who had what with that many people in one vehicle?
I can't speak in generalities. This is a specific case, and that's a very, very general question. Each case is, in each case, we follow the evidence, and the evidence will leads us to a successful conclusion in that case. So that's something that is dependent on each individual case, and I don't know the specific circumstances, or I can't speak about the specific circumstances in this case.
Were they related?
The people in the vehicle?
Yes.
No, I don't believe so. Anything else on that?
Can you talk about I mean, for someone who doesn't know about that firearm, maybe just describe it.
It's a handgun. So a Glock 22 40 caliber firearm. Handgun, I should say. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about while I'm here?
One of our cameras mentioned a standoff that happened downtown last night, in downtown east side as well.
Okay. Can you tell me where that was?
I don't know exactly where it was. It was around it was in Gastown, Cordova area.
Yeah, okay. I can talk about that. Around 12:30 this morning, we received calls about a man who appeared agitated, carrying what appeared to be a large piece of metal, possibly a piece of rebar, near Cambie and Water Street. The man was yelling, he was making threats to the public, and making statements that appeared to be suicidal. Police officers attended the scene. He was a 43-year-old man who's recently come to Vancouver from Alberta. The police officers responded, and when they arrived on scene, this man retreated into a laneway or an alleyway. So you think you referred to it as a standoff. What our police officers did was they contained the lane for public safety. Members of the emergency response team, as well as a number of VPD negotiators, were brought out to try to engage this man in dialogue, to talk him out of the lane to safety, so that we could render assistance. After approximately 2 hours of attempting to engage this man and resolve the situation, he made the decision to try to run out of the lane past the police officers. And at that time, a number of police officers were able to arrest him and take him into custody. He was taken to hospital. He was apprehended under the Mental Health Act.
There was damage to a business down there as well?
Related to this,
Yeah.
I don't have any knowledge of that.
I was down there this morning and there was a window smashed in not too far from there.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't talk about them. I can't speak to that.
He was recently,
Oppenheimer Park?
he was recently from Alberta?
Sorry, I'll just continue with this before I move on to Oppenheimer. Yes, I don't know when he came to Vancouver, but he's a recent transplant from Alberta. Okay, Oppenheimer Park. What would you like to know?
How are things going down there?
So I understand that a number of people have fortunately received housing in the park. A number of people do still remain in the park. From our point of view, from the Vancouver Police Department's point of view, we will continue to maintain visible police presence around Oppenheimer Park and in the downtown east side, which is something that we always do. We maintain a visible police presence throughout that neighborhood. Our job is to maintain order, we keep the peace, we keep people safe, people in the park as well as people in the surrounding neighborhoods. And if there are any significant any incidents at all, we will respond to them.
So it's been peaceful so far?
I'm not aware of any significant incidents in the last number of days. I haven't been made aware of them. Okay. Thanks, everyone. All right.